We're live. Hopefully, we're live, and hopefully, you can hear me this time. It is very early in the morning here, so hopefully, I will not be speaking without sound again and wasting my breath a little bit for 8 minutes, as we did last time. Let me know if you can see and hear me. Hey, we've got a few people online. Pray the chat is working. Is the chat working? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Where is the chat? Where is the chat? I don't want to start talking until I'm confident that you can hear me and see me okay. There's a like. There's a like. Hit the like button if you can hear me. I don't know where the chat is. What's going on with YouTube right now? Hit the like button if you can see and hear me all right. What's the GO, YouTube? What's the GO? I got some likes. You can see and hear me. Okay. Okay, I'm taking that as a confirmation. I can't see your chat messages yet. I'm praying that they come up. But today, look at this, actually, before I start. Aren't these gorgeous? Yellow lilies. They're so pretty. They're super fresh, too. I love them. Happy Valentine's Day, if it's Valentine's Day where you are. If it's some stupid o'clock in the morning where you are, happy Valentine's Day for yesterday. So I wanted to come on today and share a little bit of, I guess, my background and my story. To be honest with you, I've had a lot of, obviously I do a lot of content on this channel, and I've kind of realized I've had this insecurity or maybe just disbelief that people want to hear my story so much. That people they want the content, they want the information, but it's not about me, it's about the content. I always had this thing. And I've been getting feedback like that's wrong, that you do, or some of you do really want to hear that story. So I thought I'd talk a little bit about that today and kind of my background and why I love helping you and seeing you succeed with this so much. I really wish I had the chat. It still hasn't come up. Oh, here we go. Maybe live chat. Hopefully that'll come up. Oh, it's there. It's there. We got it. You just got to click the live chat. Jane's online. Malika. Oh, this is so much better now. Excellent. Martin, Holly, Gloria, Amy, A Taste of Honey. Denise is online. Thank you for coming online. I feel connected now. I feel like you guys are here. That's awesome. Okay. So I thought I'd talk a little bit about this today. So growing up, we grew up on a place called the Sunshine Coast. And I had this, we always grew up with animals. Like if you grew up with animals, you kind of know whether it helps your empath brain or whether it just enhances it. I don't know, but I always grew up with animals, as I'm sure many of you were the same. And I had this beautiful Burmese cat named Mishka. And if any of you, who's owned a Burmese? For you who haven't owned cats or haven't owned Burmese or think cats suck, Burmese are like dogs in a cat's body. Like Mishka used to run around and chase like the cricket ball with us, and she used to sleep on my pillow next to me. And for 19 years, she was basically my best friend. And growing up, I was never that confident socially. And I found that particularly in the early years, feeling a bit left out of friendship circles, moving into middle school, just because of the intelligence thing. Like I'd do well at school and then kind of feel like I didn't really connect with people because of that. And I remember getting into middle school, it got worse. And you'll know if you felt like this, where I can sitting in class, and you're sitting in class before you go to lunch, just this anxiety coming up about who am I going to sit with? How am I going to, so who am I going to connect with at lunch? And so I started playing up, because I realized that if I played up, I'd get detention. And detention meant that I didn't have to risk not having friends on lunch break. And this went on for a while. And then as I got into high school, it got worse. And I just remember having more and more anxiety about what if people didn't like me, and being such an empath, I'd always be wanting to get home, to get to my animals. We had this basset hound, Becky, and Mish, and a couple of other pets. And my parents even owned a kennel at one stage. Literally, that was kind of my life, was connecting with animals. And if you're the type that's connected better with animals than people, you'll kind of know this. Like, you'll know the feeling. And I remember getting into high school, I had parents who were really sexually, I wouldn't even say they were conservative, but they just didn't talk about it. Like, sex was just not a go topic, right? It's so early here. I'm sorry if it's terrible lighting. Sex was just a no-go topic. And because of that, I developed this kind of, it's that which must not be spoken about. Like, you don't speak about that topic at home. And I started avoiding any mixed groups, which, as you can imagine, in middle school and moving into high school became more and more difficult, right? Because the boys are all hanging out with the girls. And I can remember being at my mate's pool room. We're playing pool. It's like 1 o'clock on a Saturday. And I'd start to get more and more anxiety anytime I was hanging out with even the few friends that I had, because it was like, what if they invite women around and they're all interested in that stuff and I got to stay away from that stuff? And oh God, like, what do I do? And literally saying that I was just tired and like, hey guys, one of my friends said, yeah, the girls are coming around at that pool day. And I'm just freaking out. What do I do? And I'd say, I'm just tired, guys. I got to go. And I can literally even remember the one time this is in high school, at the very end of high school, the one time I agreed to go to a social party, lying on my parents' bed at like 6:37 at night watching The Simpsons, being so nervous for when the doorbell rang and my mates came to grab me. Because once you get to the party, like, who do I talk to and what do I say? And I just never been in those mixed gender groups, and just really, I remember the phone ringing and just like getting like heart palpitations, being like, what if someone invites me around to their house, and then what do I do? What if there's women there? How do I get out of this? And just trying to clock out. Have you all experienced that? Just where I'm sure some of you are familiar with it, where you're just like, fuck, what if I get invited to this thing? And you're that nervous about knowing what to say, or like being in the corner of the bar or the party without friends, or without being that boring person. Like, I remember I once got called a party pooper by one of the kids at high school, and it just like, as especially being an empath, like, you want people to have fun around you. So the thought that you are like the cause of them not to have fun, I hated that. Still remember it to this day. And so I get out of high school, having avoided my problems, and I go to work for a couple of years and make no impressions there. There was one person there, and I got so nervous, tried to talk to her, finally managed to like have a little lunch with her. Then she said, "Oh, Mark, I really just see you as more of a friend." I'm like, damn it. So obviously at this point, like, I've never even kissed a woman, anything like that. And I decided, okay, I'm going to have to do something about this. I've got to do something, because I'm still this empath inside. Like, I still want this connection, right? And I decided, like, I've got to do something to change my life. And it wasn't like I necessarily wanted to lose my virginity or even have a girlfriend per se, but it was just like, I want to do something. I want to connect with someone. I just like want to feel the touch. I've always been a physical touch person, and words of affirmation person. I just thought it'd be so beautiful to share that with someone. And so I forced myself to I thought, I'm going to move into a share house. I'm moving to a share house, and there's going to be like party. I'm going to have to socialize if I go to a share house, right? And I move in there, and what do? I manage to stay downstairs, avoiding my problems again, playing Age of Empires. And the one time in 2 years living there, I was there for 2 years, one time my mate brings around one of his friends, and we get chatting. It was like the first time I'd ever flirted. I'm like 20 years old at this stage. I'm like, hey, me and this girl are getting along. It's like the first time we flirted. She actually invited me around for dinner, and I remember this. Her name was Rebecca with a K. It's so rare you meet Rebecca with a K. And I went around to her place, and we had dinner. Then we're like sitting in the bed, and I remember she was on my right, and we just finished this movie, and it's like 9:30 on a Saturday night. We finished dinner, finished the movie, and I had no idea what to do. Like, none. I I'm sitting there next to her, freaking out in my own head, going quiet because I have no idea what to do. And eventually I got so scared of the silence that I excused myself out of nerves. I was like, oh, okay, it's late. I better go. Right. And then messaged her a few days later. And what do you reckon the text I got back was? Hey, Mark. Yeah, look, it's been like fun getting to know you, but still just probably just seeing you as a friend. I'm like, oh. And it's funny, like even like being aware of my own insecurities, like even right now, I'm like, are people finding this interesting? Like, I notice what comes up. I've never been a confident storyteller ever. Like, I love content, I love teaching. Even just now, I'm like, this is even interesting. Like, are you guys enjoying this? Um, I feel bad having said that though. Yeah. So I moved out of the share house after 2 years, after total failure, still never like connected with anyone. I kind of figured this just wasn't my thing. Like, I'm just not really built for that. And then I said, no, I'm going to take one more chance. I really want to connect with someone. I'm going to go to college. I'm going to move in on college. I'm going to move in like a 6-person apartment, pick like the highest level, going to force myself to go to college parties, and I'll have to socialize. So it's kind of like, I had some idea. I'm like, I'm going to put myself in the environment. That's a good start. And I go to college. I move in on this college at this beautiful Kelvin Grove campus. If you ever come to Queensland, come say hi to me. The campus is beautiful. A beautiful rolling campus. And I was going, I moved in there and started going to a couple of parties, but you know how you kind of don't know anyone and you're there for like 20 minutes and then you realize like my apartment's just upstairs. I can get away from this right now. And again, I started avoiding my problems and not taking action. And I remember walking back one day from the gym. It was a Friday night, and I was so nervous about going to this, possibly having to go to this party, that I thought, no, you know what I'll do? I'll go to the gym for like 2.5 hours, exhaust myself. And then when it comes back to the party, I will, I can say I'm too tired, and people won't give me as much grief for not coming. And so I get home, and my friend Kelly calls me up. And Kelly says, hey, Mark, can I come around? And I said, Kelly, I'm not really going to the party. Kelly was awesome. She was, one of those people who's just popular and everyone loves, but they're friends with like all the not as cool people as well. Like, that was Kelly. She was beautiful. She had a partner and stuff. And I said, I'm not going to the party. And she's like, no, it's fine. Like, come around. I'll come around. I'm not going either. And I'm like, yeah, cool. So Kelly comes around to my apartment, and we're small talking for a bit, and then Kelly says, do you know this girl, Emma? I'm like, I'll never forget this. She's like, do you know this girl, Emma? I'm like, do I know Emma? Emma was this beautiful, like incredible girl that lived in the building across from us. She was just like super connected and feminine, but also like radiant and beautiful. And I think I was like 21 at this time, something like that. And Emma was the type that I was like, she would be my dream girlfriend, like my dream, like incredible. I could never get that. Like, that would never happen for me, but that would have been my perfect person. And Kelly says, she likes you. And I'm just like, no. What error? Like, error messages in my head. I'm like, no, she doesn't like what? And at this point, I realized Kelly was serious and started like internally freaking out. Because you know how it's like you have more to lose once someone likes you? It's like, oh, great. Now I can like screw it up. Great mindset I had at the time. But Kelly says, come around and meet Emma. And I'm like, oh, no. And she's like, come around. Emma's not going to the party. So I was like, all right. I'll do it. I'm going to do this. So I go around and meet Emma. 3 of us are all having chats. It's going all right. And then a few days later, I think I went round to Emma's. No, that's right. I went round to Emma's the second time, and we're having chats again. It's going okay, and I'm like, okay, I've got to, I think, do something now. I've got to move this forward. We've hung out twice, and she, I think, likes me. And so I text Emma, and I say, hey, love to have you around for dinner. I'll cook and stuff. It's going to be awesome. And she texts me back, and my phone buzzes. I'm like, all right, this is it. And I've got this plan. I'm like, I'm going to cook this dinner, and when she comes around, I'm going to do it. I'm going to kiss her. It's gonna be a thing. It's like kiss, like one of the first kisses ever. I'm going to do this. Technically, it would have been my second kiss ever. And I get Emma's text. She says, oh, hey, Mark. I've enjoyed hanging out, though. Just so you know, I probably see you as more as a friend. I'm just like, how do I always manage to screw it up? I'm like, what is wrong with me that I always manage to screw it up? Emma had liked me. Kelly had said so, and Kelly had no reason to lie. So I'd screwed it up again. And I was just like, I couldn't figure it out because, I just wanted connection. I wanted commitment, and I wanted to maybe fall in love with someone. And, I was a fit dude. Like, I went to the gym 4 or 5 times a week. I was studying to be a vet. I had everything I thought women wanted. So since I thought I had everything women wanted and no women wanted me, I just thought, okay, I guess I'm just like, that doesn't happen for me. Like, it's just not a thing in that area of my life. I can succeed in other areas of life, but not that one. I kind of entered this like low energy depression in that area. And like, I wasn't depressed, but in that area, I just kind of switched off. I was just like, look, it's never going to happen for me. You screwed it up with the most perfect person ever. Just kind of accept it. So that was a pretty shitty little period. And then, my light's flashing at me. The light turns off, I'll plug it in. And then my mate comes around 1 December, and I'm telling him this story. It's a few months later. And he says, hey, Mark, do you know this is dating coach? And I'm like, dude, what? No, I don't know. That's just like reminding me of how much I suck. He's like, no, watch it. You should watch it. I'm like, no, I really don't want it. He's like, just come on, man, you're watching it. So I was like, fine, 1 episode. And this dating coach comes on. He's teaching these men how to meet women and connect with women. And these men did not have a lot of confidence, right? In fact, when I watched the show, I was actually like, oh, these guys are like worse than me, if that's possible. But they weren't great. I really appreciate you listening to my story, by the way. Thank you for that. I'm going to pop the light up. Damn it, I lost my light. I have to use my phone light. Okay, hopefully that works. So my friend comes around and he's showing me this dating coach, and I watched the show. I'm like, whoa, you can like learn this stuff. And he's like giving them these lines, and I'm like, well, I don't really just want to go out and say lines. Like, that doesn't seem very authentic. Like, but I'm watching this, and it crushed that belief that this area of my life wouldn't work. Like, it's the first time I'm like, you can actually just like maybe learn this stuff and be better at relationships and like actually be attractive. Because what I was doing wasn't working. And so I decided to do it. I get these like a bunch of lines together because I had no idea what to say. None. I'd just be a stunned mullet, never interact with women. So I'm like, if I can have someone tell me something to say, that'd be great. So I go out with a bunch of lines, right? Because it was the only way I was even going to get out of the house. And after like 4 nights going out and getting way too nervous and going home, finally, like I literally went to the casino, got too nervous, went home. Went to Fridays, got too nervous, went home. Like 4 or 5 times. I'm like, no, I'm going to do this. And Antonio's online. Antonio's online. Look, guys, Antonio Barella's online. Thanks for joining me, bro. I love that bloke. We've been chatting a bit, and we're going to catch up in person. How you doing, my good friend? So I'm going out, and this first time I go down to this club, I'm like, tonight I'm going to use this. I'm going to like say something. I'm going to introduce myself to a woman. And I walk down the stairs with my 2 friends in tow who are forcing me. I will up all my courage to talk to these 2 girls who are sitting in the booth. And I go up to them, and I say to them, this is so fucking embarrassing. I can't believe I'm telling you this. I go up to them and I deliver this line. Hey, girls, would you date a guy that lives in a wheelchair? As cringeworthy as that was, it got me started. And the girls look at each other. They look at me. They look at each other. They look back at me, look at each other again. And then one of them looks at me and is like, was that a line? And I'm like, fuck. She knew. She knew what I was doing, damn it. But I was determined. I'm like, no, I'm going to stick at this. I'm going to stick at this because I've seen it. I've seen it work. I've seen some of it work anyway. And so I stick at it, and something interesting happens. People start wanting to talk to me. And this is like the first time in my life using lines that people have been excited to have me in their groups. And it wasn't like I was taking anyone home or sleeping with anyone, but to have the feeling that people wanted me in their social groups, like as part of their night, and that I could actually make their nights a little more fun, that was like, whoa, what? Whoa. Whoa, because I never experienced that right through school. Like I was always kind of the person on the outside, the not really wanted there, certainly not added value. And now people with these lines or little stories, people are wanting me there. And I'm like, what the hell? Why is it that when I'm myself, no one wants me around? And when I use lines, people are keen to, like, what? Like, what is that? And so I go home and I study these lines, and I realize I spend ages studying them, and not just the content, but what they're really communicating. What's the underlying thing? And I realize that the reasons, and this is why I won't tell the whole boyfriend benefits thing today, but I started to realize there are certain things women are looking for that you need to communicate before a man worries about commitment and loyalty. Things like strength, things like safety, things like excitement. This stuff needs to happen first. And that was when I was able to, when this like a light bulb went off. Like I talk about the boyfriend benefits, like what men want for commitment, and that's a huge piece of my content. I freaking love that. But there's girlfriend benefits as well, right? There's things that you want before you're like thinking about, oh, I'd love him to commit. Like you want the attraction stuff first. And that's the stuff women didn't talk about as much, don't talk about as much, or at least didn't talk about with me as much. Didn't tell me. I didn't get the memo on that one. Like we want you to be strong, confident, assertive, and exciting, and then we'll want your commitment. And so this like set off a light bulb for me. And that's when I started doing like a little bit of coaching. But I remember before that, and the reason was I was at the bar called Victory. If you've ever been to the Victory in Brisbane, if you ever come to Brisbane, I'll show you the Victory. It is a dirty, it can be a dirty ass place. It has its moments. But I was there, and there was a table of 5 people. And there was this beautiful, beautiful woman. She had this like short brunette hair, and she just had this really loving, vibrant energy to her. And my mate's like, you really want to meet her, don't you? And I was like, yes, but there's like 5 people there, and there's at least 2 dudes in that group, and like, he's like, go on, do it. I'm like, nah, I can't. There's 5 of them. He's like, go and do it. No, go and do it. And finally, I rock over there, and with all the courage I had, I just sat down and said, sorry, I'm late. And they laughed. And then I like started chatting, and me and this girl, her name was Hannah, really hit it off. And Hannah became the first proper date that I'd ever had. And amazingly, we actually, that date started at 11 a.m. and ended up going through until about 4 p.m. the next day. We never planned it that way. But I just thought Hannah was incredible. And this is the first time that I've really been able to like have that connection in my life, have the girlfriend experience, even if it was just for one day. And I was just like, oh, she's incredible. And we started dating, like more or less. It wasn't official, but we're going on dates every week. We started salsa dancing together. And I'm just like on top of the world. I've got this awesome, awesome woman. Yeah, she used to call me Fabs, F-A-V-S. I'm never like, still laugh at that. She's the only person that's ever called me Fabs, as in like Fabio with the hair, Fabs. She was adorable. She was adorable. And I started to get nervous. About losing it because, you know, once you've got it, you're kind of like, okay, now I don't want to screw it up. So I went back to the books. I went back to the damn books and I was reading some of this gamey manipulative advice. So I didn't realize that's what it was. And it was saying like, oh, you know, you can't be too invested. You got to hold back. And I'm like, okay, I got to keep the girl. But I've got the girl now. I got to keep her interest, right? Constantly feeling I had to keep the interest. And this thing came up where it said, oh, you've got to always be doing your own thing. That will keep them attracted. So I'm like, okay. So her birthday comes up. And she invites me to her birthday dinner with her friends, dinner and drinks. And I'm like, yeah, awesome. She invited me. And then I read this advice and it's like, whoa, you've always got to be doing your own thing. Don't be a follower, da, da, da. I'm like, oh, she's gonna think I'm too into her. Oh shit, maybe I shouldn't go to drinks. And so I managed to convince myself that I'll be showing too much interest if I go to drinks with her and her friends, and that to keep attraction, I should be doing my own thing. And so I tell her, oh, sorry, Han, I can't really make it. I'm doing stuff with my friends. What the fuck I was thinking. And then how's this? I start getting a different vibe from her. I start getting like a pulled back vibe. She starts kind of retreating a little bit. And I managed to convince myself, as she does, that I must be showing too much interest. I managed to convince myself that, oh shit, she's pulling away, Mark, because you're being too needy. So I start being like, oh, I'm really busy. And then like 2 weeks go by, we've hardly chatted. And I have this, I'm sitting on the couch, I don't know, like a Homer Simpson moment or something. I'm sitting on the couch being like, it's kind of weird, we haven't chatted in like 2 weeks. Maybe I'm being too needy. And I'm like someone like shoved a, I don't know, power cord in my foot or something. Like, oh God, that's not the problem. I'm not needy enough. I wasn't like open enough and connected enough. I'm like, oh shit. And like I call her up and try to text her and finally we get to catch up. But it's a totally different energy now. And basically what had happened is that the night that her birthday dinner, drinks night, that I turned her down, she actually ended up inviting a different guy that she met from the Plough Inn. When I said I couldn't come, it was like a last minute thing. No, she didn't invite him, but he dropped her in and then picked her up. So he was like really good about it. And then they started connecting. And yeah, long story short, she said, yeah, I've really kind of like fallen for him and I think I want to make it exclusive with him. I was just like, no, like, just my heart just sank, right? And I can remember crying over it. And yeah, so I had the girl, and I lost the girl. And it taught me to never rely on any sort of manipulative or gamey advice ever. But it also taught me the beauty of connection. And I saw the way that she, lit up when we were together. And do you know what's interesting? Cool part to that story. I'm pretty sure, I'm not 100% sure, but I'm like 94% certain that those two, Hannah and whatever his name is, are actually married. I'm pretty sure that's a thing. So that actually had a really beautiful ending. And even though it sucked at the time, I'm really grateful for my mistakes, and I'm grateful it went down the way it did, because I wouldn't be here sitting here likely if that hadn't happened. I wouldn't be talking to you. So thank God, in a weird way, that I lost the girl. And then, I guess bringing it back to the empath in me, people say, well, that's like, okay, that makes sense, Mark, because I just made that decision at that time. I was going to dedicate my life, after losing this girl, learning this lesson, I was going to dedicate my life to helping people find love authentically. Hit the like button, by the way, if you're enjoying it. Help share the video around. I said, that is why I'm going to dedicate my life, after learning this Hannah lesson. Even to this day, it'd be fun to catch up with Hannah, actually. Just have a drink over it. But I dedicated my life to helping people with this authentically. I guess to finish, people always say, well, why do you coach women, Mark? Isn't your story that, of a man? And, I did coach men for a while. But as we know, men can be not as emotionally expressive. And unfortunately, a lot of men do come from a place of sexual scarcity when they're first learning. There's nothing wrong with that. We have to have empathy for that. But that's just kind of not really where I came from when I was learning. I came from emotional scarcity. And I think that's the place where most women more often come from when they are improving their own relationships. That, as well as the fact that women are just more expressive, right? There's nothing more beautiful than a woman in love and a feminine woman in love. And when I get to see that in a client or in you, and I see that created, like, I get a little kick out of that too, just seeing that manifest. So that's why I have such a passion for coaching women. And that's why I'll be doing this for the rest of my life. And that's my story. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm not a storyteller. Hey, I like my content. I'm scared of stories. So I would like to do this more, though. And it's this little goal I've set for myself to do this more, especially when I'm presenting and being asked to do a lot more stage stuff lately. So I really appreciate you hanging around. Who else was online? The world is filled with Hannahs. You just need to open your eyes. That is very true, 340 SUW. And I've met many incredible people thanks to my mistakes that day. Happy Yellow Lily, Valentine's Day. These are so fresh and beautiful. I do have an Empowerment Academy live stream coming on, but thank you so much. Life to be lived says, I can't tell jokes, I can tell stories. Yeah, I'm the same. Hey, I can be funny, but it's always accidental. I can never do them. Hey, this is cool. Oh, I have some news for you. I don't know when I'm going to publish it, but we have How to Kiss a Guy filmed, ready to go. I don't know when I'm going to publish it, but we have that one ready to go. And tonight, I'm going to release a video that I've been saving especially for Valentine's Day. It is called, drum roll, When a Dating Coach Gets Ghosted. And it's a story from much further along my dating life. You're going to enjoy that one because it really does prove it happens to all of us. This was not a Hannah. This was not me taking some bad advice, applying it, and clearly seeing my mistake. This was when I just have no idea what the hell happened to the woman I really liked. So you're going to hear that story a little later on tonight. Where are you? If you're from London, happy Valentine's night. If you're in the LA, it's probably about lunchtime there. So it's probably a bit of a different vibe actually watching this at lunch. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed. I'm Alice says, how to kiss a guy. That is correct. Don't worry, I'm not getting my best mate in to make out with him. That's not how the video is going down. Galactic's in London. Amy is from Norfolk, UK. Hey, I'm coming to London this year. How exciting is that? I'll be in the UK in July and early August. So I'll have to catch up with you there. Have to do a little meet and greet or something. That'd be fun. Also got some dates. Actually, I will be over. If you're interested, if you're on the East Coast of America, I'll be there in the first week of May. West Coast of America, meeting up with some special people in the last week of April. So I'll be around to visit you. Hopefully we can catch each other and meet in person. That'd be fun. Happy Valentine's Day to each of you here. There's so many of you online. I wish I could say hi to everyone. Anne, Galactic, Alice, Amy, Eleanor's online, Marjorie's online, Holly's online, Flora's online. Thank you, Flora. Tammy's online from Georgia. Sharon from Scotland. Says, I think I am going to Scotland. Ingrid, the plan is to come to Sweden as well, which is cool. So I'm hoping to go from the UK up into Scandinavia. We'll see how that goes. Nidhi says, hi, Mark. Hey, thank you so much for listening to me. This was a little more vulnerable than the usual content piece, something a bit different for you. So I really appreciate you coming online and not, I guess just sticking around to listen to it. So thank you so much. If you do want a topic, leave it in the chat box. I'd love to hear it. Going to get into some Ask Marks again soon. Once the applicant videos are all sorted through, got a couple of weeks left of that. We're going to bring bring a social confidence coach into the channel. I can't really thank you enough. Hey, I'm just so enamored by your follow and the fact that you support what I do. So let's all empower each other through growth, authenticity, and self-esteem. And I look forward to seeing you on the next live stream at the start of March. Next live stream, start of March. It will be on the 1st of March, 28th of February if you're in the US. Bye.